Hello, I'm Oral Gibbs, and welcome to Oral Gibbs Live. And I have a very interesting guest. We're going to speak about something that's going to make you feel good. But let me tell you first about our sponsors. The Windward Islands Bank in Phillipsburg, in Cul-de-Sac, and in Simpson Bay. Windward Islands Bank for all your banking needs is a Windward Islands Bank, and GEBE, serving St. Martin for over 6 decades, is GEBE. And with me here on Oral Gibbs Live, I have a very interesting guest, but I have to tell you about Oral Gibbs YouTube channel, that if you subscribe, then you're able to find out before anyone when we have a new show that's uploaded or live. And this program is also carried on the Hot 99.9 FM radio station right here in St. Martin and on TV Caribbean. My guest is Mr. Henri Brookson. Mr. Brookson, how are you doing, sir?
I'm very well, Mr. Gibbs, and very elated to be here by you on your well-looked program. So thanks for inviting me.
And thank you for accepting the invitation, because you are doing something I think that's so good for St. Martin, promoting St. Martin.
Yes.
Right?
Well, thank you for that.
Yeah, and it's called Fête de la Cuisine.
Fête de la Cuisine, which means literally feast in the kitchen.
Now, you go back a long way. I know you was at one time minister penitentiary in The Hague.
Yes.
You was principal of the Sister Mary Lawrence School.
Correct.
Politician.
All right, for a short while.
You did about almost everything.
Well, a jack of all trades.
So how are things going now with you so far?
Well, things are going very well. As you know, since 2010, I'm enjoying my new position, which is pensionado. And it gives me a lot of opportunity to do things that I like, from gardening and doing a housing development plan at the moment. And just to show people that, you can make a nice living area for people where they're comfortable, with good sized lots.
Yeah.
I am into planting because beautification is one of the things that I'm into.
Yeah.
I have about 50 avocado trees that
Wow.
my wife has grown from the seeds, and I plant them in the ground. We have sugar apple, that we also cultivated from the seed, and also a lot of palm trees. I take pleasure in that, because working with your hands in the earth, it gives you a chance to reflect on many, many things. And I just laugh sometimes at myself, because I could remember in the old days, you would hear Mr. Bush in the weekend, where did he go to? He went to his farm, to be amongst his cattle. Moshe Dayan from Israel did the same. They were all involved in working in the earth. And that's the existence of the man, and taking care of food.
So you're into gardening and you're into developing real estate.
Yes. And next to that, coming up with ideas how we could best promote this beautiful island of our own, because that's my drive. I love St. Martin so much, Oral, you won't believe it, and everything I do, I have St. Martin, and I want to put the people of St. Martin, up front, and do things that we could all make some money,
Yes. That's good.
Yes.
That's good, because, when you look at St. Martin, the region today, we used to be number one.
Yes.
And now we're losing that spot.
Yeah, listen, I've told you just now, I was reading this morning, and I see that Little Anguilla has taken up the 3rd spot of the most chosen destination in the Caribbean. And I was wondering, where are we? Where is St. Martin? I remember 88, 89, we were the first choice and second choice of the tourists, So, we have squandered that spot, and I think we all put an effort to bring us back to the position where we should be. That would be only good for the livelihood of our people.
Now, Fête de la Cuisine is, you came up with this concept that you have been doing for 20 years almost now?
No, not that long. We just had a period of 5 years that we didn't do it. But if I would have counted it, then it would have been the 17th time.
So not that far away.
So, no, but, because of COVID, first of all, the hurricane, that's threw us back because we depend heavily on the sponsorship of hotels. That is putting up the people takes a big chunk out of our budget. And we've been fortunate so far through the past years that the hotels, they cooperated and helped us out by providing complimentary rooms and etc. But being themselves in the problems, it was not prudent for us to organize something and then to go and ask them for help because they had to rebuild.
Yeah.
So when they were so far, then came COVID, and that gives us another setback. So now we're happy to be back on track again. Mailing of the Tourist Bureau called us and asked us if we're going to organize it again because she really sees the value of having an event like this. So, so that's what we're going to do in November. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
As you were speaking there, I thought back about some years back. You were also promoting St. Martin in Russia, right?
With?
Russia.
Yes, we was even so. Things, things happen sometimes so funny, I always try to engage in meeting people, So I had this good friend of mine who is in the equestrian sport. And then one day he called me, he says, Henri, I've just met some Russians. They're very wealthy. They came to Holland and they had a good line of horses, and they were auctioned off and they bought some cars from him. He said, these are guys you should have on the island. So he said, can I send them? I said, yes, let them come down. So they came, was a young guy, 42 years old, Lado Petrov. And we started to talk. And one day we were having happy hour here by, Royal Palm. And then the son-in-law of Fleetman, I said, hey, I read that this hotel is for sale. Oh, he said, so many hotels are for sale. He said, Port de Plaisance too.
That was Fleetman that told you that?
Yeah, the son-in-law of Fleetman.
Oh, son-in-law of Fleetman, okay.
So the Russian guy heard it. He said, hey, Henri, is that true, Port de Plaisance for sale? I said, that's what Johan is saying. So he said, ask him how much. So Johan said about $60 million. He said, tell him I want to buy it. By oral, I fell off my chair. I told my wife, I said, listen to what this guy is saying. He wants to buy Port de Plaisance. And it was really so because he spent 2 years investigating, trying to get a clear picture of the structure of Port de Plaisance. Port de Plaisance was, let's say, a big puzzle. They had so many companies and this and that before you could get a clear picture of what is owed, because you don't want to buy, as they say in Dutch, a cat in the bag. So he brought in these accountants from Holland. They went through everything. They really spent 2 years investigating. But I don't think that many people know that on the island. But Port de Plaisance was a laundry monarchy.
That's when it was owned by the French.
By the French pension funds.
Right.
And they were sending a lot of money to Port de Plaisance, and going through Port de Plaisance, it went back to France to sponsor the campaign of Mitterrand, who was then wanted to be re-elected. So it was one whole toodaloo, as we would say. Yeah. So he never managed to buy it, so then he gave up on it, and then, but he liked the island so much that at one point he said, you know what, I want you to open up a travel agency in Moscow. And he did that out of his own budget. He had a budget for 3 years, was $350,000. And he spent that on the promotion in Russia. The hiccup why that didn't come to full fruition was that the Russians needed a visa to enter St. Martin. And the thing is, these rich guys, they don't want to stand in line by an embassy for 3 hours to collect a visa. So they would be driving at night with their girlfriend, and they would see this big billboard, go to St. Martin. They would drive directly to the airport, buy a business class ticket by Air France, and fly over the ocean 11 hours to get to St. Martin. And when they arrive, they weren't let in. They were refused. They were sent back. unless the governor used his powers at that time, to say let him in. So, yeah. And we went to St. Bart's, and I must say St. Bart's capitalized a lot on it because at that time their singer Agutin, they called him the Mick Jagger of Russia. He was the first one to buy a home there, and he still owns a home there.
Yeah, the few Russians own
homes there. And later on Abramovich came. And St. Bart's has profited a lot from that, but I don't know what the future is because with the situation in the Ukraine now, right. I heard they have seized a lot of their goods in houses in St. Bart's, but okay, that's apart from our discussion, right. Really.
So it's quite interesting because you've done so much, and when it comes to federal cuisine, I gotta ask you, what kind of food do you like?
What I like, first of all, don't fall off of your chair or all, but I like a good pigtail and rice. And my youngest sister, she knows if she wants to spoil me, she has to come with a bowl of pigtail and rice. And I tell her, no joke, Philo, don't come with a piece of pigtail here, a pigtail there, That thing, it has to be more pigtail than rice, But I enjoy a good fish, a grouper. I like to make fish soup from the big, red fish heads and so on with green banana and plantain. I enjoy that very much. Let's say the home stuff. But I also indulge in going out and eating in a good high-class restaurant.
Well, we all Caribbean and we love that pigtail or pig mouth soup or what have you. But before we started, you asked me if I cook. Yes, I do.
Yes.
But I can't cook for a lot of people. I could cook maybe for my wife and kids, and I love to cook here.
Right.
But the reason I ask you that question is that I assume that I love French food.
Yes.
I really love French food.
Right.
Then Italian come after that.
Right.
In terms of those type of cuisine,
yes.
Seeing that you're the person responsible for federal cuisine,
right?
Do you like French food or Italian?
Yeah, I love I love the European kitchen. Oh. I love the Mediterranean kitchen. I love the Creole way of cooking. It's I love them all. So I'm really a food lover.
Oh, okay.
Right.
And you eat anything like veal sweetbreads and all those kind of things?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I eat that. The only thing that I didn't like, the Dutch had one of these, let's say, what do you call it, foods, and I can't get a name, but balkenbrei, they call that. It was made from the brains of the cow and cow tongue and all of that, grind up together, and they make a kind of a meatloaf out of that. No, I didn't indulge in that. It reminded me too much of the puke of a cat, so I stayed away from that. Yeah.
But you eat foie gras?
Frogs?
Foie gras.
Foie gras, yes, I eat foie gras. Yeah, I'm not a lover of frog meat to put that too. So that is out of the question. There's only a few things, but what you call mackerel, and the smoked herring and rice, local stuff that we grew up with, nice, yeah. That's
good. So at least we have a good idea of the person who's bringing federal cuisine to St. Martin and what you like and don't like.
Yes.
So it is scheduled for November this year, right?
Yes, from the 4th until the 13th of November. We have a calendar of events for every day. This year we're adding something new to it. Next to the food, we are having a spirit fair, which will be held on the 3rd and 4th of November.
Okay.
And it is nice to tell the folks how it came about, I always make it my business when I go Sundays to the beach because I promised my wife that day is for her, we go to the beach. And I engage in talking to people. So we would be having our chairs on the shoreline. And then people would come and sit next to us, and I would engage in a talk. And I said, "Oh, you're enjoying your beachfront property?" So the people would smile. I say, "Yes, it's all yours," So, and then the next step, you start talking where they come from and so on. And what is amazing is that you hear that a lot of them say, "Yeah, we came on a cruise, And from that cruise, we decided to come back, you know. So that shows you the potential that
Right.
the cruise passengers offers us, you know. And why I'm saying this, because I'm going to tie it in to how we came about to keep this spirit fair, because on another Sunday, I met this big guy, you know, full, strong guy, totally red hair, everything. And he was sitting in the sun. So he passed by. I was sitting at the body. I said, hey, my friend, I said, you better get out of the sun. I said, else you're going to be a red lobster. I made a joke. So he looked at me and I said, yeah, come and sit next to me to the bar. I said, I'll buy you a drink. So hesitantly he came, he sat, and then we started to talk. And it turned out that he was a big chef in New York and he has his own distillery. So when I told him about Fête de la Cuisine, you know, he got elated. He said, wow, he said, we love this island. He said, can I participate in it? I'm going to help you out. So he started to talk about the fact that he has a cocktail tour every Friday and Saturday in New York, where he has a bus and people could enroll and they go driving on this party bus to the most important bars, having a drink, and then they end. So then he said, you all have tourists here. He said, on a ship, cruise ship passengers. He said, so why don't we welcome them, you know, during that week? You know, as soon as they come off, we welcome them with a nice cocktail. And then we ask them on which bus you want to hop. You want to hop on the Grey Goose bus. You want to hop on the Bacardi bus. You want to hop on the Johnny Walker bus. They had choose, and then they get, when they enter the bus, they get a cocktail with Johnny Walker. And the Grey Goose bus, they get a cocktail made from Grey Goose. And the bus will take them around the island. You know, they will get a cap, they would get a T-shirt, you know, and create some music on board. And then when they get to the beach, you know, they could go to DV Beach, you know, there again upon arrival, they get a nice cocktail, and we engage them in fun things and making it a day that they will never forget. So when these guys go back to the tourist ship now, you know, they are so elated about the island, they share their memories and so on. And I'm sure we're going to see them back. You understand?
I guess they won't forget it if it's not too drunk.
Yes, exactly. So, you know, we try to, you know, find ways, you know, to dig in and promote the island, you know. So for this, you know, we were seeking the cooperation of the harbor, you know, so that we could do that. We know, of course, there are people that, you know, have the, let's say, the license to take these people along on the bus.
Right.
But, you know, we can work together with them, you know. It would be a great thing, you know, because that's the only way that, you know, we could move things forward. But that's just to give you an idea. So we're going to have this fair, this spirit fair. We want to keep it at a very high level. You know, we are talking to one of the best resorts on the island where it would be nice to have the event, but we have not rounded that off, so I don't want to disclose it at this moment. Right. Yeah. So from there, moving into the week, the first week, Monday, the chefs will be here. So we will use that day to let them get acquainted with the island. We will take them on a tour. We have planned with them to take them to the harbor, so at least they could see the magnitude of the operations there. And it gives the chance to the harbor to tell a little bit more and give specifics about the harbor, because we're having international press, TV coming, you know, so that gives us opportunities to showcase the island. And then in the evening, we are going to have a welcome dinner for the chefs and the visiting media. And of course, people from St. Martin can also partake. And this dinner will be prepared by our local chefs. We're trying to get the top local chefs from both the French and the Dutch side to work together to make this welcome dinner. And the proceeds of this dinner we're going to use to help the STHEA take people from St. Martin cooks, because every year they have this cooking tournament, the Taste of the Caribbean. So, we put some money into that funds. So it's a kind of way of helping out each other.
Right.
Right. So yes, that's the Monday. You want me to continue with events?
Yeah, you could go ahead if you want to.
Tuesday is a day of education, because we will take these chefs. It's 7 of them. We will split them up. A group will be going to the Sundial School, and the other group to NIPA. And there the chefs will be engaged in an interaction with the students,
Right.
encouraging them, tell them about the benefits of being a good chef. The beginning is hard. You have to start at the bottom, cleaning pots. And sometimes you might have days that you want to quit a job, but that's the beginning of your career. And you work yourself up through looking and listening and see how your master chef is doing. And that way you climb up the ladder. And once you're on top, it offers you opportunities. You could travel the world, everywhere in the place they're looking for cooks. You get to meet new people, you get to meet celebrities, and that kind of motivation. And then the chefs at the Sundial School will be engaged in making a lunch, for which we will invite the governor and the Minister of Education and Tourism. But also we try to give back. We're going to invite some senior citizens and less fortunate children, to give them an experience of tasting, the food of these chefs. Now at NIPA, those chefs will really work professional, because NIPA is a higher level. They're going to be preparing bites for the wine tasting festival that we're going to be having over at Cupocoy Village, Porto Cupocoy. It's a really nice setting there. I've been talking to management of Porto Cupocoy. They have given us their permission. So what we're going to do, we're going to set up 2 big tents, and all the wine importers, distributors, they will all have a booth there. So in this booth, they would display their top wines, and people can come and visit and do different tastings. So what we have done, we have split it up in certain hours for professionals. Most chefs, they come off their job, let's say lunch is finished at 2:30. So then they could come to the fair until 6 o'clock. And when it's done, they rush back to their restaurant. Fortunately, they told me a lot of them have off on Tuesday, others on Monday. But okay, we decided to keep it on Tuesday. So we are giving these chefs and restaurant owners the opportunity to come and taste, high-level wines to the benefit of business, without being disturbed with too many public around. We will have the chefs cook a plate of food, and each dish, we will have the wine distributors paired with one of their best wines. So
will this be open to the public?
This will be open to the public at 6 p.m.
Oh, okay.
But because it's for professionals, we want them to give them a chance in peace to, to be informed, because we are thinking of bringing in, big distributors, big wines, So the interaction can only take place, if it's not too many people around. And at 6 p.m. we will open it to the public at large. And then they can come and they can do the tasting.
And there's an admission fee for that too?
Well, they will have to pay a fee for the tastings, you understand? And then what we will do, because we want to bring the chefs also to the common man, because not everybody has funds to pay for a high-class dinner, like, for instance, our gala dinner. I will explain that. But with the cooperation of the restaurants in Porto Cupocoy, we want to put each chef in a kitchen by the different restaurants. And we will ask him to prepare something nice, a nice dish, which is affordable. So people could, go there and then order that plate of food, and with a glass of wine, and then at least they get to taste the chef. If they want to taste another chef, they could move on to another restaurant. So our idea is to split it up to say like have two restaurants make the starters, a nice starter. Two restaurants make the main course, and two restaurants make a dessert. So they could go from restaurant to restaurant and still have a full meal. That's the setup, right? So we think that's going to be a fun event, and I have to thank management of Kupopoi for understanding our program, because people have to understand what it's about and to see the value of it. And right away they recognize it, and they said, we're going to cooperate. You could come, you have our square for free. The only thing is make sure when you leave that it's cleaned up. But these are natural things, you know, use a venue of somebody, and you have to return it the way you get it, you know. So we are looking forward to the public to come out at large. You know, it's really going to be a fun event. We did it once, maybe 6 years ago. We had an Italian evening there. So we had all the Italian restaurants on St. Martin. They all had a booth, and they made a dish, you know, and people came, and it was very festive. People were drinking wine, enjoying pizzas, enjoying pasta, and so on. So we hope to create that. A special event that evening will be the announcement of the winners of the guava berry and lime punch competition. As you know, lime punch and guava berry are the two drinks that people used to have in their house available during Christmas time.
Right.
Now that tradition is disappearing. So we want to bring it back. So we want everybody on St. Martin, you know, go talk to your grandmother, your grandfather, even your father or your mother. They know how they make lime punch, and they know how they make guava berry, you know. So make a bottle of that stuff, a few bottles, and enter into the competition. And we have monetary prizes for the winners. And what we want to do, because we want to encourage them into business, because, I mean, you say, when you look at, for instance, vodka, or gin, Jenever, the Dutch Jenever, these were products made by the farmers. They used to make their own drinks. People in Russia still make their own vodka, you know. But then there was some smart guy that came along, and he said, you know, I'm going to start a factory and start producing. Right. And even Ketel One, I know the owners, you know, they started small too, you know, making it, and now they're the biggest company in the world. Ketel One Geneva sold best, and a few years ago they sold half of the shares, you know, to another investor, was something like 900 million euros. So you see, so how far you can go. And we have the same here. We have our guava berry company. I mean, you say Mr. Stephen has been very successful, but he took up the concept of our guava berry, and he started to merchandise it.
I think his success is centered around his marketing ability of that, because he came to St. Martin from Ireland or something like that.
Yes.
And started guava berry that we will make it and doing all the time. But what he did, how he packaged it and marketed it to the world, it's just amazing.
So that's what I'm saying, because that's why I want to get people back into, you know, making guava berry and lime punch. I make my own lime punch, of course.
It's really
you
good.
taste that too.
It's excellent.
Yeah, you know, so I myself, my wife say, where you going now at your age to try and bottle this thing, you know? But, you know, I like doing things, and somewhere down the line you got to think about your grandchildren too. You know, it's an opportunity. You know, it's something nice. So I would like to say to my people out there, hey, folks, get to work. Start talking with your grandmother, your grandfather. And there are different ways. I know that some people, in the process of making the guava berry, they would bury the bottles a few days in the earth, a few months, you know, for the fermentation. Yeah.
It's amazing. I have 2 bottles of guava berry that was given to me.
Right.
Over 20 years now.
Okay.
It's amazing how it is there.
Yeah.
And I don't drink.
Right.
But I plan to, maybe this Christmas coming,
right.
Try to do some samples with it and have people taste it. But it's just amazing.
Well, I hope you'll think about me,
I'll
even
think
if I
about you.
can get a little bit of the cap of a bottle.
I'll give you some in a bottle.
I would like to taste it, yeah, because that smell, the smell alone, really, it's nice, yeah.
Right. So I have to go to a break. Is there anything you want to add now, or we do that after we come back from?
We'll take the break and give me a chance to drink some water.
All right, good. So in case you've just joined us, this is Oral Gibbs Live. I'm speaking with Mr. Henri Brookson, who is responsible for Fête Cuisine. And we're on television, we're on TV Carib, we're on radio, which is Hot 99.9 FM radio station, and Oral Gibbs YouTube channel. So if you want to know when we have a show, when we upload a show, when we're live, subscribe to Oral Gibbs YouTube channel, and you will know. So we'll be right back after these words right here on Oral Gibbs Live.
In order to know what you want out of life, you need to observe, listen, and try it yourself.
Promises, we can make it. If we work together, that's just how it is. Let's stand strong, and serve the land. Working hard as one nation, yes we can.
The more difficult it is to achieve, the more satisfying it is to make it.
Just believe in us, we'll see you through it all. Oh, never give up. Oh, never give up. We can make it.
Never forget those who were there for you. And if you dream big, you might just achieve it.
The power to serve, standing for community. OGB, got the power to serve, the power to serve. We got the energy. OGB.
Make use of WIB mobile banking with easy access and direct usage of face recognition, PIN code, or fingerprint. Download WIB mobile banking app and make your transaction from anywhere at any time. For more information, visit wib-bank.com.
My guest is Mr. Henri Brookson. Mr. Brookson is responsible for Fête de Cuisine, and it's going to have it again in November, from November 4th to...
November 4th through November 13th.
All right. And before the break, you was telling us about all the things that you have, and you mentioned that you're trying to encourage locals to get into the competition of
yes, lime punch and
guava
guava berry.
right,
Yes.
yeah.
So to add to that, overall, the winners, we will provide them with stickers mentioning, first prize winner, lime punch competition 2022. So those stickers they could put on their bottles, and they offer them as a sort of a marketing tool, so they could continue with that. If they need more stickers, we will provide them with a certain amount, but we will give them the rights, to reproduce those stickers. So we encourage, all individuals, but also you have some people that have their own line of guava berry, some people selling it already. We would say come out and enter into the competition. Don't be afraid, because the big wine houses, they enter into competition every year.
Yeah.
You can't all be a winner, but it contributes towards empowering the sector, right?
Right.
Yes. So we look forward to a lot of people participating. So
You have a venue for that already?
yeah, we have the venue is going to be Port of Coopercoy, where we will announce the winners.
Oh, okay.
But before, the prejudgment will take place a few days before. So we'll have the Michelin star chefs, but also some local guys, the importers of wine. In the past, we had Mr. Connor. Yeah, he was then working as food and beverage manager by Little Bay. And we had George Grayo as a judge, and, some people who really know our stuff locally too. But it's always good to have a few independent people who don't know the real stuff, because they bring in a different taste, you understand?
Yeah, that's true. So then, what are we up to now, since you have already have?
Yeah, that was Tuesday.
Right.
Okay, so after working intensely on Tuesday, we have an off day for the chefs, and we're gonna take them over to the French side, so that they could discover the French side also. And now Thursday I have a meeting with the French Tourism Office, because I strongly believe that we should do more jointly to promote the island. That is what people like. They hear about the island, one destination, twice the fun. I forgot the slogan. So that is our marketing tool. That's why people come back. Hey, nice, French side. That side is more business-like. French side, you got to find foods, the tasting, and so on. So, so I gonna speak to them. I have come up with this idea because for so long now we have been talking about making November the culinary month, and I've put a concept together which I want to discuss with them. I have already sent it to some players here in the field, some restaurateurs, and to the tourist office. And I think the tourist office is going to discuss it with the SHCA. But the concept is this. If you go and market, come to St. Martin, this is the culinary month, it's big. St. Martin has so much to offer. So I am suggesting to them, why don't we break it down in districts? Like, for instance, combine Maho and Kupakoy together. So if the tourists come in the first week, for example, then they know that the taste, we call it the taste of Kupakoy and Maho. They know that in that area, specifically, there's events going on. All the restaurants have a dine-around program. You could go there and eat at a discounted rate, have fun, and so on. And then you could enhance that week by starting with, of course, a wine tasting week. Have like a food market where all restaurants in that area, people can come and sample. You understand? And have a music. That would be the beginning. Then the second week, you move to the Simpson Bay area. You say Simpson Bay, Coal Bay. Come do the taste of that area. So those restaurants will make a dish, they have a dine-around program, and they could announce it in the newspaper. So tourists from abroad, they know, I'm booking in that week, I got to be in Simpson Bay for the food. It does not mean that you're taking away from the other restaurants. They too can make a special, but, then people are focused. They know that's where the happening is. And then the third week, you could say go to Grand Cas because you want to do it jointly, and you go to Orient Bay, but you mingle it. 1 week is the taste of Simpson Bay, Coal Bay. Then you have another week the taste of Grand Cas. Then you come back over to the Dutch side, you have the taste of Maho and Kupakoy. And the final week, you have the taste of Orient Bay. And I think it gives tourists going to be more focused on an area, than everybody at one time, having, making advertisement for the whole island.
I don't know, I'm out of touch these days when it comes to fine dining, but there was a time when St. Martin was really at the top. We had restaurants like La Santal.
Yeah.
We had La Vie en Rose,
wow,
La Galanque,
yeah.
La Paroquette.
Antoine's and
also Escargot. These were great restaurants. I, as a local, used to go there myself.
Right.
I can't call off any restaurants today of that caliber. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm out of touch.
Right.
But I like the idea of what you're doing now because it kind of revitalizes.
Right. And then We still have a lot of them, you know, but
Oh, and Dalivius, by the way. I can't leave out
Dalivius, yeah, he moves to Grand Case.
His daughter, yeah.
His daughter moved to Grand Case, but that was a place too in Front Street, you know, top of the line. And, you know, it also has to do with environment, because the other day I went to a master class from Bacardi in one of the new restaurants they opened there.
Where?
In Front Street. It's in the location of Antoine's, where Antoine's used to be. And it was very nice. I said, let me go there because it gives me the opportunity to meet the importer of Bacardi, you know, the representatives. And it was very nice. It was a small gathering though, but I was glad for that because then you could interact much better, you know, with the people doing the presentations. But later on, I wandered off through Front Street. You know, I said, let me go and see what is in Front Street. The condition overall, you know, it's poor.
I know.
It is. There was nothing to do.
Yeah.
And then you have a hotel like Holland House Hotel. You know, they're in the middle. They're like an oasis. But because of this, it's not inviting. There are no. It's dark, the alleys are dark, tourists don't know where to park. We really have to do something about it. I think we have to come up with a total new plan. We have allowed only jewel shops to be built here. There's no entertainment. You know, what made Phillipsburg in my time so lively was that people had the shops underneath, but they were living on top of the shops. So there was always movement, even in the evening. And now when you drive up there is all these shutters. You can't do any window shopping anymore. And yeah, it's not inviting.
Yeah. But you kept the event at the Holland House one time, right?
Yeah, we kept an event and we're going to keep the openings dinner there. They've always been a faithful, let's say assistant of our supporter of a Fête de la Cuisine. And Mr. Boutequez is doing a great job. He sees also the value, you know, of having an event like this. So he always says yes, you know. It doesn't take long to get his cooperation. So I would like to use this opportunity to thank him.
Yeah.
And one of the big things too, you know, people have to realize the value of events like this that we're keeping. You know, it's not about a fun thing that Brookson is doing, you know, for his ego. No, it is for the island. And why I'm saying this, because we are a foundation, you know, we don't have no other income, but we need the support of businesses, you know, to help us, you know, to make this happen. So we are already started, you know, sending out letters to people asking them to sponsor us. And we have a booklet giving information and giving the statistics about, you know, what an event like this can mean for the economy and the enormous turnover that people have when they go on visit to islands, the amount of turnover that you get from restaurants and so on. So I hope they will take the opportunity to read good and to understand, you know, the idea about it and also the importance of a Fête de la Cuisine. And as Richard Gibson always said, I grew up with him. He was my next door neighbor in Aruba. And I like what he said, and I will keep stressing that. Listen, people, tourism is everybody's business. It's not only government, but also the small man. He can contribute to the well-being and the importance of tourism by simply, you know, fixing his fence along the street side. Because when tourists drive around and you see a broken down fence or you see old cars park up, you know, it's not enhancing, it's not contributing to the beauty of the island.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yeah. When last you ever been to Las Vegas?
Who me? No, never.
Okay, well, you know, there was a time when Las Vegas was all about gambling.
Yes.
And I've been going there to the NAB for almost 20 years now. And what I've noticed is that now they're attracting people through fine dining.
Yes.
A lot of fine restaurants have opened up in Las Vegas.
Right.
And the reason I brought it up is because of what you just said a while ago.
Yeah.
I think we have a long way to go again.
Right.
It was at number one. We can
Yeah.
get back to that spot.
Right.
And I think what you're doing is a great idea to go back to that area.
Yeah. But in my days when I grew up, I knew everybody kept their yard clean. You know, the fences were up good, but we have let things go.
Not the same. I
You
mean,
know, and you have broken down fence, especially on the main road, you know, people living on the main road, you know. Put a little effort into fixing a nice fence. Don't make a fence of pallets
I
and
know
all
you're
of
being
this.
nostalgic, sorry, but I got to tell you, it's not the same, Simran. You and I know.
Yeah. Well, we could bring back that spirit. I'd never give up.
How are we going to? There's so many outsiders now. They're here just to make money and then go. So that love
Right.
that you mentioned at the beginning of the program,
Right.
that you love Simradin,
Right.
I think the only person that loves Simradin more than you is me.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, but we could, you see, we got to set our standards too. We got to start to tell them, listen, guys, this is how we do things. And don't be afraid to open your mouth, because I will tell you something.
You get in trouble.
Sorry?
You get in trouble when you open your
Well, you know, I must say some people get very aggressive. I'm going to give you an idea. We go to the beach. We go to the beach to enjoy the quietness and to listen to the, you know, the waves and be in nature, right? So we sometimes sit under the grape trees, and it goes well because we go down at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning, and we sit there. My wife makes a nice breakfast, and we enjoy. We read the Daily Herald. I catch up on the Daily Herald and so on. And then it goes good until 1 o'clock. And then people come, and they don't have no respect. They would put their barbecue just behind where you're sitting, all the smoke coming in your face.
Really?
And I would say, hey, partner, listen, this don't work, you know. I said, you could place your barbecue in a direction where the wind is blowing, that it blows it away. I mean, see, that's his normal practice. I find they should think of that. Some people say, oh, excuse me, you know, they say, I didn't realize it. But you have a lot of foreigners, I won't call name because I don't like to stigmatize. They tell you, I do what I want here, you know. And then they would come with your loud music and the big boxes, you know. And, okay, my wife has a stroke, so she cannot stand loud music. But then it's sometimes not only one, because then a next group come, maybe not only 4 yards away, and they have their loud music too. And it's like boom, 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 boom. So then it's the moment for us to quit, you know, we leave. And but again, too, I made a suggestion. I was talking to the Nature Foundation. I said, why don't you divide the beach in segments? You know, you have people who come just for the peace, you know, to enjoy. Right? You have people who come to party, put them at one end where they could set up their tent and so on. And, you know, create sections, you know, and have control. They say, hey, you're not allowed to do it this here. Here the people want to sit quiet. You know, in that way, it's time that we start to organize the beaches.
Right. All right, so I got to bring you back to Fête Cuisine. I
Yeah,
don't know
sure.
How much, what else we have to add there that you haven't spoken?
Well, what I want to add is, of course, you know, the main event is the great gala dinner on Thursday evening, where people will be treated on a 6-course dinner.
Wow.
You know, each course prepared by the chef.
What kind of chefs now? The Michelin chefs?
Yes, these are all Michelin star chefs, and we have a big chef coming from New York, you know, and his dad started to work. He wanted to work at the White House, but then he said his father moved away quickly because the pay was so bad. But, you know, for the name, you know, so... But he's coming. He owns a restaurant in New York and also in Chicago. So we got him through Jake. Jake knows him well. So he's coming in. We have 5 chefs, Michelin star chefs from Holland.
No, these are 5, 1, 2, 3 stars?
Yes, 1 star chefs, and we have 1 chef with 2 stars.
Oh, okay, good. The maximum is what, 5?
We have 5, and then the 2 from one from New York and 1 from Montreal. The one from New York is called Preston Clark. Okay. So people who are interested, they could Google him. And the other one is Phil Toe from Montreal. Yeah. And so they will be doing a nice dinner for us, a nice 6-course dinner. It comes at a price because it's also a fundraising dinner.
But you got to share the price with us because some people might want to budget for it and save.
Right, but okay, if they want to really have a good evening with entertainment, because the other part of our top promotion foundation is the Be Able Committee. I don't know if you remember, a few years ago, we launched an awareness campaign for the disabled,
right?
To better their lives and position. We want to pick that up again. So part of the proceeds is to offset the cost of Federal Cuisine because it's quite a venture. It needs a lot of funds. And we're going to use part to do activities, for the disabled. People can go on YouTube and check it out. We've made videos of all these events. And just before, the day before yesterday, I was looking into one of the videos. And what we did is we went and we got the disabled. We took them from home. And together with Brechtje Boetekees and Stef Roemerwitzer, we made a nice program. And there was one guy, he hadn't been in the sea for years. So when you see the joy on his face...
He was happy with it.
Really he was happy. So we want to get back into doing these kind of events. But, a lot of things cost money. We don't have the amount of volunteers anymore. People hardly volunteer because everybody, is striving to make some extra money in their time that they have, because they need it,
And that's hard times. Huh?
Yeah, and that's the difficulty you have here, to get real people to help you out. But I want to say here, if there's anybody out there listening, and they say, hey, this is something for me, I would like to help, pick up the phone and let us know because
What's the number?
We can use additional hands, 587-2678.
All right. Repeat that one more time, please.
587
Yeah.
2678. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
So I notice you're kind of like reluctant to share the price of this gala dinner with.
No, I'm not reluctant. It's $200 a head that we charge. We've always been charging that. So. Yeah, and we were so lucky always to have companies, buy tickets, they see the value. So again, we count on their support. And you know what is nice too, when we made the first announcement in the newspaper, we had people who right away pick up the phone. They say, oh, you all are back, Mr. Brookson. We are happy. One of those companies is PDG. They called me and they were asking me to send the sponsorship levels, and this is the kind of thing, that makes you happy when you see that people recognize the value. So to PDG, chapeau, thank you for your offer. I'm going to surely come by and pick up on that. And then we had a chef, who said, oh, he read about the welcome dinner. He said, I want to cook for these chefs that are coming in, and, this makes things easy for us.
So where the gala dinner is going to be at?
The gala dinner is going to be at one of the top locations, one of the really beautiful resorts on our island. I don't want to jump too quick because we are still in negotiation with him, and I don't think it's prudent to announce. This interview today was only meant really to get a message out, and tell people, look, what they could look forward, because we still have 4 months down the line. So I am looking at you, with a pleading to say, Mr. Gibbs, bring me back in just before the event, then we would have everything really in place, and I could put the dots on the I.
We'd love to have you back, and by that time we should have the radio station up and going, so we shouldn't have a problem. So that's our commitment to that.
Thank you so very much for that commitment.
Yeah, so basically, did you cover everything you want to cover so far?
Yep, I'm looking at my paper, not to forget on November the 11th, we're having a big beach party. It's people can come out and enjoy a good barbecue. It's going to be down at the beach in Character. The chefs will be engaged in making, helping barbecue. but it's party time also for them, because the night before they've worked hard towards our gala dinner, so so we have to give them a kind of entertainment to make them happy, so when they go back, they tell their colleagues, hey, St. Martin is the place to be. And one thing I must say, I've been working with the Alliance Gastronomique now for all these years. That's the oldest chefs organization, and we don't pay any chef for coming here. They do it for free. I know in Aruba, they pay them a lot of money, but through my friendship, with John Barron, who used to be the head of the organization, and it's now being continued by the new president, they just come for the fun. So we want to offer them boat rides, we want to take them over to Ile de Pinel. So we will be going around asking people to help us out to sponsor it. So feel free to call me if you're willing to help, put St. Martin back on the spot, because this is the biggest promotion we could get. The Telegraaf newspaper, the largest newspaper, is coming to St. Martin for free. They usually give us 2 full pages in their well-read newspaper, and a page is valued at 40,000 euros.
Well, we would love to get that kind of money here.
Yes, I know.
By the way, Mr. Brookson, we other time looked at my time here.
Yes.
Only have about 30 seconds in closing for you. Anything you want to add in closing?
Yes, the only thing is I want to express the gratitude of the Top Promotion Foundation to you for having us here this afternoon and for giving us the chance to talk about our program. So thank you very much, and we hope to see you at one of the events, in November.
Well, I don't show up without invitation, so if you don't invite me, I won't be there.
I'm gonna make sure you're the first one to get an invitation.
Right, that's nice.
Okay.
I want to thank you for this. You brought the bag.
Right.
And you promised me something else.
So when you go out and you do your shopping, we hope you will be wearing it so everybody see you and say, hey, Oral, what's that?
Yeah. Hey, thanks a lot, Mr. Brooks. I really appreciate it, all right?
Yes, thank you very much.
Thanks.
And success with your program.
Thank you, you too. So that's it for now. I'll see you next time right here on Oral Gibbs Live. Until then, take care. Bye.